All right, welcome to another Fight Week debate. This time around UFC 260, and this is our second week. Got a huge card, and we got a couple of topics here in the UFC to discuss. I got, again, my two co-hosts here, D-Mart and Frank, no streaming. How are you guys doing today?
Good, man. Living the dream.
Yeah.
Ready to talk about some UFC, you know.
For real.
I didn't really have a good week last week. My call-outs weren't the best, but with Peter Yan's knee, like it kind of messed us all up anyways. So, I mean, I said Sterling would win, and he did, but, I think I was completely wrong with my predictions. But, hey, let's see if this time I can get a bit better. Yeah. But, yeah, it's fun, man. I'm glad to be here.
All right. How you doing, Frank?
Man, I'm good. I'm kind of in that same boat. I feel like I was nothing but wrong last time. But,
we
here for redemption, turning it around.
Yeah, wait. How did we do? So we all picked Izzy, right? We all picked Izzy. Yeah. We all picked Amanda.
Right? Yeah. Well.
All right. So we batting even right there. Then two of you guys picked Sterling, right?
Aljamain,
and I picked Peter Yan. So technically, we coming out on top by
World champ,
one
baby.
Technically,
flaunt that belt around.
2-1. Yeah, 2-1. No big deal, right? Like, let's go.
Yeah. So all right. So let's see. Yeah. So we're gonna get into the top 3 fights in UF 360, and I definitely want to, get you guys' take on that. But before we get to that, we're gonna talk about some of the spicy topics around the UFC. The first thing up, we Usman Masvidal 2. I got two things. What do you guys think about that fight? And the big thing around that fight, Dana White has always said that he wants to be the first one back. He wants to be the first one back in a full event. And that's what we're seeing here at Veterans Memorial Arena in Jacksonville, Florida, where you don't have the mask mandate, and they're going to have a full-on event. So what do you think about both that fight? Usman Masvidal 2, how do you think it turns out? And then what do you think about having that full event like right now where we're at?
Well, I'll go first since I'm the Canadian here. I don't live in America. I don't know how it's really well, I do know how it's going. I can read the news and listen to you guys, but Florida, I know from what I hear is it's going forward the way it is, and that's how they want to run it. I don't know how to think about it. I don't live there, so it's not me. I can't judge it, but I'm assuming they're going to sell out. I believe the tickets actually go on sale in a couple days. I think it early sale tomorrow. I'm looking on the website right now, and there's going to the general public in a few days. So it'll be interesting to see if it sells out in 3 hours, under 3 hours. But if I was living there, I don't know. I probably wouldn't go. Right? I don't really like people that much. And then everybody crowding in. I just don't think I'd want to go personally. Just right back in the get-go. But I can guarantee you, there's enough people that will actually want to go, and I don't have a problem with it. And it's their life, man. The state's open, so cool. It'd be interesting to watch with fans back too, right? So, and then we'll skip to the fight. Where's Wonder Boy, man? Give him a shot, man. Masvidal, what are we gonna watch again? He's just gonna get stomped with a training camp. It's gonna be. I just don't buy it. I think Usman's just too strong. I don't like this rematch. It's kind of like he wants to. What are they trying to do? Sell to the casuals at this point? I get it, but it's we just saw the fight. We saw how it went. It's give me Wonder Boy, man. He's getting to that age.
Ready. What you got, Frank?
Man, I'm kind of in the same. But all right. So first of all, let me just start by saying I don't like anything about this situation. I don't like the fight. I don't like the fact that it's going to be in Florida with doors wide open. And no mask mandates. And on top of that.
They don't have to wear masks. I didn't know that. I didn't know about the masks. Sorry, Frank. I didn't know that they had to wear masks in the venue. Or they don't have to, sorry. I didn't know that. Okay.
From what I understand, Florida is not enforcing a mask mandate at this time. I could be wrong, but from what I understand, they're not. And I also just looked at Vivid Seats, and tickets start at $234.
Really?
Start.
Nosebleeds?
Yes.
Wow.
Nosebleeds. For what? This isn't even a good fight.
Yeah. What about the rest of the
I can understand what about it?
T-Wood.
Exactly.
I mean,
Q and the T-Wood rap.
Yeah.
This is.
I
mean, maybe if this was the first time, sure, but we've seen how this fight goes. This fight's not going to go any differently the second time. There's no mystique around it. There's no reason to buy it the second time. Like, why are we here? I'm with D-Mart. Where's Wonder Boy? What's going on?
Yeah.
What happened?
See, this kind of goes back. My take on this kind of goes back a little bit to what we were talking about last week with Usman selectively having, people that he wants to fight. Not going up, not going down. He's ran through the division. The Masvidal fight, I necessarily don't like it, but I actually don't know that it may not turn out a different way, because when I saw that first Masvidal fight, Usman did control Masvidal, but when the fight got to the feet, I'm like, I was always like, oh, you better hurry up and get him back down. You better get Masvidal back down before something happens. So the excuse is, oh, now he has a full training camp. So we'll see. Okay, so that's
like boxer.
Yeah.
What would stop him from getting Jorge to the ground in the second fight if he was able to do it at will in the first one? I mean, yeah, he has a training camp, but
yeah. You never know what's going to happen in a fight. What in the world? Like, one thing that I really want to see is if you give Masvidal versus who did he hit with the flying knee?
Askren.
Askren. I want to see that fight again, because if he doesn't hit that flying knee, what happens when Askren takes him down and controls him?
Askren's too busy fighting Jake Paul.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
more money.
Yeah, and I think
10 fights in UFC.
I think Askren loses that fight.
I think
Askren loses that fight, and Dana better not
for 5 minutes.
Yeah,
he looked. Yeah,
Dana better not bet that $2 million or million or whatever. So what I'm saying is, I just felt Masvidal really had the advantage. However the fight goes, I think you go into this training camp knowing that he's going to take you down. So you have to do something with your training camp to say, like, let me do something to mitigate these takedowns. He has to have something up his pocket. So it's not my favorite fight, but I'm like, I don't know it's going to go the same way. We seen it. We never know what's going to happen in these fights, right?
I mean, here's my scoop.
Yeah.
Even if we watched Gilbert Burns smack him, the guy got up, still didn't go for a takedown, and just marched and like, I don't know, man. Like, what's Masvidal gonna do? Gilbert Burns clocked him with that. Like, clocked him.
Is Gilbert Burns stand up better than Masvidal?
No, but who's got, like, that shot he got hit with? I don't know, man.
If he can take that,
I don't know. He can take. Like, you're hitting a stone. You're trying to, like, dude, Usman's tough, man. Like, Usman's the real deal. Like, he's gonna out-grapple you, and I don't think what's he gonna do in the last year to get better at takedown defense against a guy like Usman? Like, I've already seen it. It's like GSP when he did it to Josh Koscheck. Did it to him again.
Yeah, and with the whole mask, my take with the mask is the fighters really. They do a lot to stay safe. The UFC does a lot to keep the fighter safe. I just think that it's out of your control once we're now stepping into new territory again. We haven't had a full arena. Do I want to see it? Yes, I'm going to be at home watching from TV. Like, yeah, pack up the arena, but would I be there personally? No, just because I don't know if you can control the unknown, so we will see what happens in that scenario. Now, another topic before we get to UFC 260, which is real interesting. You had Tyson Chandler coming off a very impressive win against
Michael Chandler.
Yeah, Michael Chandler. I'm sorry, you always get me on these names. I'm glad you're here because I will get a name wrong.
It's Mike. It's Mike.
I'm just saying, Tyson Chandler, NBA center, would be interesting to see in the octagon.
Is that what I said? In my mind, I just have Chandler, and I just go with whatever.
He's always my sixth man on 2K. Yeah. What a center, man! He's always had good blocks, good rebounds.
Yeah,
I'm saying the reach would be crazy.
Iron Mike Chandler, right? So
that's right.
Coming off a very impressive win against Dan Hooker, very impressive. All right, and then you have Dustin Poirier, very impressive win against Conor McGregor. To me, I thought he was in the driver's seat. And then, of course, it's like that same night, both of those fights hey, we want to see Chandler versus Dustin. Dustin is saying that, Chandler pretty much needs to fight more people, pay his dues here in the UFC before he fights Dustin. Because I thought Dustin may be the next in line for the belt. Well, the UFC had different plans there. Michael Chandler, Charles Oliveira in for the championship. Dustin hadn't scheduled a fight yet. Okay, so what do you think about that whole scenario? Because to me, I think you talk yourself out of a championship fight. I know the money fight is out there between the rubber match with Conor McGregor, but you can run that rubber match at any time. All right. But one thing that is time dependent is that championship window. You may not have it after the Conor fight. What if you lose that? Then you don't want you lose your championship opportunity. I think you talk yourself out of a championship fight and you still get a lot of money as being the champion because you get a cut of the pay-per-view buys as the champion. So what do you think about that route that Dustin is taking, pretty much looking for the money fight versus just staying in line and fighting who's next?
You mind if I take this one first, D-Mark?
Yeah, it's you. Go.
All right, so I think Dustin's doing a fine, it's a fine business decision because, like you said, the money fight you could do it whenever. But here's the thing: what if you go for the championship fight and then you lose, and then you don't have that money fight opportunity because now Conor's like, oh well, I'm gonna go fight for the belt because, well, I'm Conor, and the UFC is gonna be like, well, he is Conor. And so he's just automatically gonna get that title shot. So now you're sitting there with no title shot and no money fight. Fighting is it's not a long career, man.
I think you always had a money fight on that table in that situation because Conor wants to settle. He wants to settle that loss. That's why I say you could do it like Tito Ortiz and Chuck Liddell. Do it later, not that late, but you can do it.
That's way
whenever.
too late. Poor Chuck, man.
Yeah. If you end up waiting too late, then you become Nate Diaz, where you have no title fight, no money fight. Then you just what are you doing?
So you think he went the right path for him, the money fight?
I do, because I feel like the money fight is winnable, and if you get the money fight and then you have a chance for a belt, you get more money whenever you fight for the belt. You can go for.
Conor still has that big attraction.
If you beat Conor a second time, how do you deny that star power? Who else is everybody going to want to see fight after Oliveira and Chandler? Either way, no matter who wins that fight, everybody knows who they want to see get the first shot, and that's Dustin. So I feel like,
okay,
I feel like he's doing the right thing because he's gonna be able to pull that money down, and that's gonna solve a lot of problems at the end of the day.
Exactly. Yeah, what you think?
I have no problem with Dustin Poirier's decisions. I mean, he can do whatever he wants, man. Like, honestly, if he wants to go and just get another fight right back to back against Conor, I hear they're talking about it maybe in July, maybe that International Fight Week fight. That'd be huge. But yeah, I'd love to see that, and I think he's right. Like, sometimes it's not always about the title, and I think Dustin's mindset's like Frank said, well, if I beat Conor, man, like, that's star power, that's double, it's over, like, I beat him 2-1, like, that's the end of the tape, and then he still has everything to do, instead of being like, all right, let me win the title, and then he might never fight Conor again, and Conor might go, his next fight and make the most money he's ever had. So everybody wants to see Poirier, McGregor too, see how McGregor adapts to the leg kick, the calf kicks, and I mean, I think he knows best. I think he knows best. Yeah. So it's like, he's in the game. He probably knows the financial, he's like, the belt can, like you were talking about how you get more money with the belt, but in his head, he's like, man, Conor's the belt. Like, let me fight Conor. Yeah.
See,
Nate Diaz won't do it because he fights once every 6 years. But
that's where I get my problem, D, because I think it always has to be about the title. Once you get guys going off and doing other agendas and it's not about the title anymore, I think you just lose just a lot of integrity in the division at that time. Like, I want to see number one versus number two. It has to be for the title.
I want to stop you right there because That's not Dustin Poirier's problem. That is Dana White's problem.
Okay.
I feel like it is the UFC's fault entirely that they have let things get to this level. The money fight should be the fight for the belt, and there shouldn't be other money fights in the division. But somehow, somewhere along the way, probably sometime, during 2014, 15, the rise of Conor, the stars started, exactly, things changed. The stars started dictating what was the money fight and just how much everything was worth. And I feel like once people realized that they didn't need the belt to sell tickets, they stopped caring as much about the belt. So
you step in some dangerous territory at that time. Once the belt means nothing, that's what I don't want to see in the division in the UFC.
I don't want to see it either. But
BMF
I feel like
belt and
then all those start popping up. But I feel like the powers that be should incentivize the belt to make fighters realize that is the money fight. Put in.
Yeah, true.
You get X amount of dollars for every defense. Yeah. You get X amount.
Good point.
You get.
How is there any money fight if Colby wins the belt? Like, who wants to I don't know, man. Does he sell? Right. You guys think he sells? You think people? You think casual fans are like calling each other up? Like, are you watching the Colby Covington fight?
I think with Colby, it's a fine line between being the heel, making people interested, but then you can take it too far where people don't want to watch you fight. So you got to draw that line, and you can't take it too far. So I'm not sure where Colby is at, but he may.
Well, they want to watch him get beat up, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
They call it. Is that a money fight to fight that guy? Like, it's just annoying. It's just
exactly.
Like, I don't care about the belt. Let me go fight somebody else. All
right.
At least one fight, but whatever.
All right. So coming up next, we got UFC 260 coming up around the corner, and we got 3 kind of pretty good fights. It really was a stacked card. I was so excited about this card. I'm still excited, but not as much, because I think my favorite fight actually got pulled from this card. And I tell you why. Right now we're looking at Sean O'Malley versus Thomas Almeida, Tyron Woodley versus Vicente Luque, Stipe Miocic versus Francis Ngannou. Okay, so you take out Volkanovski. You take out that fight. That's a huge fight. And who was Volkanovski fighting? Slips my mind. Ortega. I really wanted to see that fight. I mean, like, just because of the way that I feel about the other 2 fights. I don't think they're going to be that great, and we'll get into them. But before we get into them, let's talk about fight predictions. Okay, Sean O'Malley, Thomas Almeida. Go. Who do you guys think going to win that fight?
You want to take it, Frank?
Almeida by boring decision.
Ooh.
I just got that feeling, man. I don't know. O'Malley, I feel like the mystique is gone. James Brown voiced the thrill is gone. We're not gonna see that same confidence from O'Malley. I don't think we might see him try to feign that, but it won't. Getting knocked out and getting finished is always going to be in the back of his mind now. No matter what he says about undefeated mentality and this and that and this and that. That's not hating on the guy. That's just, that is what it is.
Yeah.
And Almeida has also been in O'Malley's shoes. You've been the top prospect. You've lost. You've fallen off a couple of pegs. And Almeida needs a win, man. He's lost, I think, his last 4 in a row.
Yes.
Said.
Yes. Thomas Almeida. Yes. He's lost his last 4. He had one since 2016.
That is insane. He's going to know exactly what he needs to do to go out and win. And it's not going to be pretty. So I expect a lot of clinching up against the fence and just throwing enough shots to stay busy and keep the ref off of you. But he's going to win by boring decision.
Okay. What you got, D?
Well, actually, it was 3 losses, okay? It wasn't 4. So he lost to Cody Garbrandt, got knocked out after he went 21-0, right? So then he comes out, Cody knocks him out in the first round. We all thought Almeida was going to be this, the guy's 21-0 at the point, right? So then he has only fought 4 times since like 2016, right? So
Jimmy?
He came back. Almeida. He's only fought since 5 times since 2016. So that's so long. That's 5 years, 1 fight a year, right, for Almeida.
So he lost to Cody Garbrandt in 2016.
Yeah, and then he beat Morales. Albert Morales beat him, right? And then Jimmy Rivera lost to him, Rob Font, and then he lost to Martinez last year. So it's like,
oh yeah, I see. Okay, yeah, you're right. So 3 in a row.
I mean, like,
three, yeah, okay,
yeah, he's
gotcha.
3-0. He did win after the Cody fight, right after he got completely knocked out cold. But
correct.
It comes back to maybe he's more tentative, like I don't know. It might be. Maybe I just think he wins by decision as well. Maybe not. I just think a split decision for either of these guys. I don't think maybe O'Malley. I think he's hesitant too.
So who you got?
These guys are both like top 15 crack and top 10 guys. Like so it's really. I don't think anybody's gonna go too crazy. I mean, Sean O'Malley isn't really impressing me too much.
Holding your feet to the fire. Who you got to take?
I'm taking Almeida by split.
Okay,
Almeida
all right.
by split.
They're great. I'm glad you guys picked Thomas Almeida. I'm picking Sean O'Malley.
Is that your boy?
Yeah, no, I'm picking Sean O'Malley not just to disagree with you guys, but I really just looking at just that 3-fight losing streak. You're only in a fight once a year. You snuck one win in there right after you lost to Colby. I just don't think it's going his way. Yeah, okay. Sean O'Malley learned from the leg kicks. I saw the interviews and things of that nature. Outside of that big win against Eddie Wineland, so I just think that Sean O'Malley, you're still going to see that nice, smooth, like slick striking, and just maybe he gets that height back, because before that loss with Vera, everybody was so hype on Sean O'Malley. So that one loss, I don't want to just be a prisoner of the moment and just forget everything. So I'm going with Sean O'Malley, impressive knockout, second round.
Dude, if he does win, and
calling it out, Frank.
If he does win though, and he ever watches this, it's actually O'Malley. So when he hears you pronounce
O'Malley,
he's just gonna punch you.
I'm getting everybody wrong. Hey, O'Malley. Okay, we got it.
Yeah, it's fine, man. But I'm here. I'm just, I was, it's good.
All right, so got a lot of emotions tied up into this next fight. I really don't think it's going to be a good fight at all. It's crazy. Tyron Woodley versus Vicente Luque. We looking at Tyron Woodley losing to Colby, losing to Burns, losing his belt. He hadn't won since Darren Till. Tyron Woodley doesn't seem like the same fighter before he even steps in the octagon in the walkout. As everyone knows, in the UFC, EA Sports UFC 4 community, I am a huge Tyron Woodley player. I watched him, I studied him. He didn't seem the same when he's coming out. Vicente Luque coming off 2 impressive wins here. So how do you guys see that fight going? Who you got winning?
Luque's gonna kick it at him. It's gonna be
wow.
Hard to watch.
Wow. It's gonna be a snooze fest. It's gonna be Keywood against the cage, looking for the overhand right.
Yeah.
And Luque's just going to pick him apart. Luque's the only loss he's had is against Steven Wonderboy Thompson, who should be fighting Usman at the next pay-per-view. But that's not happening. We have to watch that Masvidal crap. But, there's no way.
Yeah. So
Luque all day. It's just
okay.
I think he's done. I think he's done.
All right. Same. So I'm glad you guys said that, because again, I disagree with you guys. Okay. Maybe it's me just liking my favorite fighter too much, but this is what I'm seeing with Tyron Woodley.
Your favorite fighter?
Well,
T-Wood? That's awesome. I didn't know that.
At some point,
now I feel bad.
At some point,
he's my favorite rapper.
Tyron Woodley definitely was.
I mean, he was dominant, right? He was,
yeah. At one, but then once we start seeing the fights, with Usman, I thought maybe that was a one-off. But then I saw Burns, and then I knew what was going to happen with Colby, and I was like, something changed. So I'm not just going to just jump off the whole bandwagon. This is what I think with Tyron Woodley. You know what took place in your last 3 fights. You know what's going on mentally. Okay, now your back is against the wall. You have no other choice. You might even be looking at fighting with bees on your gloves next. You might be in Bellator if you lose this fight, if they take you. So at this point, if you don't come out and perform like your livelihood depends on it, then I don't know what to think at that point. So even through all of this, I'm going with T Wood. Now we're going to be able to roll the tape back and hear me say this stuff, and I'm just going to be like, what are you saying? But I'm not in the future right now. I'm in the past talking about what I'm going to feel in the future. So it's like Back to the Future or something like that. So yeah, here we go, man. T Wood, we picking it. We calling it.
Watching, not only should you hop off the bandwagon, man, you should light it on fire. It's done. Pull it over. See if you can sell it for scrap. Just take the wheels off. Do something. The bandwagon's not going anywhere. I feel like T Wood's going to retire after this fight, and it's going to be a horrible performance to retire on. And there's just not much that can be done about it. How long was he beefing with Colby Covington before they fought? They've been going back and forth since like 2017, I think, at the latest, maybe.
Yeah, a long time.
They've been going at it for a long time. And he was stuck on neutral since the Usman fight. And if this is a guy that you have legitimate hatred for, or so you say, and you get in an octagon, you have an opportunity to just be locked in a cage with this guy and do physical harm with him. And you can't get your hands to go after that?
Yeah, exactly. You're good point, man. Yeah, if you can't get turned up for that, then you can't turn up. And
that's what I'm saying. Luque is going to come out there, and Luque is a guy who gets turned up. He's going
to do a Wonder Boy dick to him.
All I gotta ask is the powers that be that change the stats for UFC don't nerf him too bad. DC, don't nerf T Wood too much. You know what's gonna happen, man. T Wood gonna be like a 3-star on UFC 4, man. All right.
Wonder if I won that second fight.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Or no, the first one. Sorry, the draw.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Tough one. All right. So the main event of the evening here, Stipe versus Francis Ngannou. All right. So we know what's happening with Stipe. 2 wins against Daniel Cormier before he lost, and then before that he beat Francis and JDS. Okay, and then Francis, he's doing pretty good. He beat Rosenstruck. He beat JDS, Cain Velasquez, Curtis Blades. Then he had the fight against Derek Lewis where he didn't throw a strike. Okay, before losing to Stipe. So you know he's had some success. He says that he's new and improved now. Stipe is still doing what Stipe does. He's getting up. He's working hard. He's grinding. He's doing his thing. Who do you guys got in that fight?
Man, I gotta take Francis. I still think Stipe is the better fighter. I feel like Stipe could do everything he did in the first fight, you know, and get the same result. I feel like it's entirely possible. But I just think Francis is gonna touch him this time, man.
Okay.
I just feel like he's taking either too much damage in the DC fights, or I don't know, man. There's just something about it. And let me just explain my whole thought process on this. I want Francis to win for the main purpose of like the heavyweight division then becomes like a fighting game arcade mode, right? You have to fight all of these guys to get progressively harder, exactly, to get up the ladder, only to get to the main boss who is cheap. He finishes it in seconds, and then you're scrambling around the arcade asking anybody who will for change. But there's somebody else in line who wants their shot, so they're behind you slamming the A button as hard as they can to make the countdown go faster. Like it's just
it's greasy. You're so right about that. The countdown 10.
All right, who you got?
Jam in my house, right?
Oh yeah,
I think at the con. Yeah, I did.
You got the arcade cabinet and all.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, that was the game back in the day.
Well, I got it from Arcade 1-Up. It's pretty sick.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah, I heard it.
No, it's like, it was Canadian. It was $699, but it came with the stool, and, you know, it looks sick, right? And then I put LEDs on the back, and it's wicked. It's online, so if one of you guys get it, we could play NBA Jam against each other.
Okay, I might look into that for sure. All right,
dude,
so
it's just great even for a background thing, man.
Yeah. Who you got winning the fight, D?
I'm gonna go with Stipe.
Okay.
Here's the bit. Stipe is very elusive. You know, he's a Gold Glove boxer. And if you look at all of Ngannou's fights, he needs to win this in the first round, or the second round. That's about it. If it goes any deeper than that, this is a 5-round fight. I'm going to put my odds on Stipe. I think he evades the tornado for a while, which he did in the first fight. He also got clipped. If you go watch a highlight, which the UFC's been putting on their channel recently, Ngannou hit him with a nasty right hook at one point when Stipe was coming in for a straight, I believe, and it got him right on the temple. He ate it, right? But I don't think he can do that anymore, because after that, DC actually knocked him out, and I don't know what's going on in training camp. I'm sure he's been getting hit hard, but it's just, in my opinion, if Stipe, which he did in the first fight, completely did against DC after he lost to him, but I got Stipe. I mean, the longer it goes, the better. He can weather the storm. He's a champion, I'm going with the firefighter.
All right,
let's go, Cleveland, Ohio.
Yeah, I like the shape that Stipe has gotten himself into in that DC fight. He looks lean, even though Francis, he looks like a beast. One thing is, I'm a big proponent of looking at all of the footage leading up to the fight, whether you got embedded or anatomy of a fighter, and I really look at just the mental state of those fighters. I necessarily, from what they showed, I wasn't too impressed with what I seen from Francis. I saw Francis just really, I didn't seem really, maybe they didn't show it, I'm pretty sure it was there, but I just didn't seem with that passion and that fire that I think that you need to have, to be at that level. But I did see that from Stipe. Stipe knows how to box. He knows how to preserve his stamina and stuff. I'm going with Stipe on that one. So we'll see how that goes. I go with the champ until you prove that champ wrong. Then I'm going with the champ. But hearts with Francis, but I think Stipe is gonna pull this one out. So we'll see. So
take that, Frank. 2 against 1 now.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'll own this one.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm riding with Shao Kahn Ngannou, man. He's gonna pull it off.
Yeah.
Goro.
All right.
He's got the hammer, 4 hands. I mean, he's got all of it.
All right, so that wraps up our fight week debate 260. Excited about these fights. We'll come back and we'll analyze and see who's right coming up in the next UFC event. So I want to thank you guys for joining me in our second show, and we'll definitely keep this thing running. All right, signing out. Peace.